What is up, you guys? Thank you for tuning into this video. I'm gonna have a pretty short one for you guys today. I'm actually going to be putting some 2-inch BMR lowering springs on my dad's 1966 A-body El Camino that we actually just LS swapped. We're also going to be putting some KYB gas adjust shocks on it, so hopefully this allows it to handle a little bit better than it does. It's got a little bit of body roll on it. Those shocks are blown. I'm hoping that this is a pretty good upgrade to what's in it right now. So I'm gonna get some measurements around here, and I'll say them on camera so we can get them written down. Okay, from the ground to the wheel well. Ground to the wheel well, 27 1/8. 28 1/2 on this side. So this should be giving it a 2-inch drop. Let me go ahead and show you guys what we got. So I actually got these on they were on Craigslist. Brand new BMR 2-inch lowering springs. So here's the rear spring. Perfect. I mean, they're brand new. The guy he put them on his car and he didn't like it. He wanted the stock ride height, so he put them back on. So here's the part number for the front. It is BMR SP034 RB, and the rear should have a part number on it somewhere. The rear is BMR SP018 RB. So that's that, and then let me show you the shocks. We got some of these KYB gas adjust shocks. I believe this one. Right. So here's the front shock. They seem really tiny, but I guess they are going to do their job. Some people say these are pretty harsh ride, but I think it's going to make this car feel a lot tighter. These are about 170 bucks shipped from Rock Auto, and we got the springs for 45 bucks. First things first, let's get the rear end jacked super high, and then we are going to put jack stands on the frame rail right here in front of the axle so the axle can droop down. So this is where I got the jack stand, right under the frame rail here, right behind the or in front of the link arm. And I think I'm going to undo the shock right now. I might have to undo the upper control arms, which is just 2 bolts, but I'm gonna undo the shocks, and I think that might give us enough to pull the springs out. The shock bolt is an 11/16. Stuck. So I'm gonna probably lever pry this thing off. Hopefully we can get it out of here pretty easily. Okay, so I undid the shocks and I put a jack on the other side to push this side down, and it looks like they got loose, so let's see if I can get them out of here. Oh yeah, perfect. So now I'll do the same thing for the other side, and should be pretty good just to put the springs in. Okay, next you got to take out the bolts that are at the top of the shock. They're 1/2 inch. Then the shock will drop out. There's 2 of them. Okay, now you got your new springs. They should just fit right in there. Perfect. So it's got to go up like 4 inches. Then this is going to lower it a lot, because this isn't even close to touching the top. Probably about 2 inches short. Okay, so pretty much I'm going to put the springs in both sides. I'm going to jack, or actually I'm going to put the shocks in right now, the top bolts in it, and then I'm going to put the springs in and then jack it up until the springs seat up in the top, and then I will cut. I'll show you real quick. I'm gonna put the top in here, right, and then jack the axle up with the springs in it. I'm gonna cut this, and you have to time it right to push this into the little bolt down there that the bottom of the shock goes on. Okay, here's the stock spring, and then the KYB lowering spring. It's lowering at a good 8 or 9 inches. Should make it ride a lot better. I also took this little bit of rubber that was on the top of the stock spring and put it on this one just so it doesn't rattle around. Nice. What? Nah, I didn't get that one. All right, now I got the shocks. Shocks are all in, springs are in. One thing you want to be careful of with springs that are short like this is if you want to jack it up from the frame and droop the axle down, It's probably gonna have too much droop and the springs will pop out, so just be wary of that and you'll be good. I usually jack the car up from the diff anyways, so it's not a big deal for me. But we're gonna put the wheels back on and drop this sucker down. Low. Damn! Look at that. Low. Dang.
It's about 8 inches.
Damn, that's tucked. That looks kind of sick though. Man, it tucked it so hard. Let me measure this now. We were 27 1/8 before. 24 1/8. 2-inch drop springs, I guess. You get 3 inches out of them. Maybe those were lift springs in there. I don't know. But man, look at that. That's a good good ride. We got just a little bit of room up here, probably about a finger width up there. Man, it tucked it super nice. I gotta do the front now. The front's a bit harder. I gotta undo the ball joints and stuff and hit them with a hammer and do all that stuff. Probably mess with some brake lines and all that, but the back is about as simple as it gets. And it's definitely gonna make it handle a lot tighter because those old shocks were blown. So let's go ahead and do the front now. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do is undo this upper ball joint. I'm just gonna pound this thing up. Make sure you get a jack underneath the lower control arm when you're doing this, because if you don't, the spring pressure is just gonna shoot it down really, really hard, and it's kind of dangerous. I really should have bought a ball joint remover tool. It's like a little clamp thing. I have a pickle fork, but I don't want to destroy it, so I'm gonna use the good old hammer method. I'm gonna hammer the heck out of this thing, and it's gonna come out. I don't know if you guys saw that in the time lapse, but it only took me like 3 hits with this little 2-pound sledgehammer, 4-pound sledgehammer. Came right off. A couple of hits to the knuckle part, and then 1 hit or 2 hits going up on the upper control arm. So now I'm gonna undo the shock up on the top. It's a 9/16. It's got a lock nut on it, so obviously you got to take the lock nut off first. So I'll do all that, and then we'll undo this nut fully. I left the nut on a little bit just so it doesn't shoot off. Nothing is going crazy over here. So I'll undo that all the way and then lower the jack. That should give me room to get the spring out. Here's the old spring, here's the new spring. You can tell it's probably 9 or 10 inches shorter. This one was kind of a pain to get out. I had to use a spring compressor and drop the lower control arm all the way down. Hopefully this one's a bit easier to put in. It's a lot stiffer, and it's probably just as heavy, but way thicker coils on it. For the front springs, I believe that this goes down and this flat side goes up, because really all I'm going off of is pictures on Google, and that the logo is upright when this part's down. So that's how I put it in. If it breaks, that's why. All right, moment of truth. Let's drop her down. Oh boy. That's freaking, whoa. Dang, look at that. That is low. That looks freaking sick. The jack barely fits under it. Dang. Let me measure that real quick. Okay, we are 25.5 on the passenger side and 25.5 on the driver's side. I don't remember what the ones were before, but this is a lot lower. Alright guys, so my dad just drove the car, which is really the true decider of whether it was a good modification or not. He really likes it. He says it handles a lot better than it used to, which it does, and that's kind of expected. Handles really good for being a stock geometry car. You know, we didn't change anything apart from put springs and new shocks in it. Handles super good. A little bit lower than I thought it would be. This is the 2-inch kit, and I think it dropped it a full 3 inches in the front and the rear, which is, I mean, I didn't expect that, and I hope that you guys doing this know that it's going to drop it that much probably. So a lot of people say that if you have sagging springs, it'll probably only drop you 1 inch from there, but these were the stock springs and it dropped us 3 inches. So it is what it is. It rubs a small amount on the front. I think I showed you guys. The rub sounds a lot worse than it is. You can see that little mark. It's literally just this little tiny mark, and I think it's rubbing on a bolt up top. Let's see if you guys can see that. It's rubbing on that bolt right there, and you can see it's kind of cleaned off. I don't know if it's the bolt or the bumps in the panel there. I think we're just going to take that bolt out or shave it or something, but I think it hits right there, and it feels like it might hit bump stop. They might be a little bit soft, but I mean, taking corners and stuff is a lot better. Well guys, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check the description. I'll have a link to my Instagram in there if you guys just want to see what I'm doing. I post some stuff about this car, some stuff about my Montero, some stuff about my brother's cars. They got some pretty cool stuff too. So if you want to see what I'm doing, go ahead, check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.